organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Tonight on Daily Iowan TV, trouble from Iowa near the White House. We have details on an Iowa man's arrest next.
And in Spotlight Wednesday, we'll introduce you to a student who's fundraising for diapers.
And in sports,
find out how one swimmer is overcoming adversity.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Hannah Thompson.
And I'm Michelle Nago.
An Iowa man in Washington, D.C. is in custody in Washington, D.C. after Secret Service found his vehicle near the White House with a rifle and ammunition inside.
41-year-old R.J. Kafim from Davenport approached Secret Service officers on the corner of 15th and East Street Northwest. It's reported that Kafim told the officers someone in Iowa had told him to go to the White House.
After the run-in, officers searched his car to find a .30-30 rifle, the ammunition, and a 6-inch blade. Kafim is charged with possessing an unregistered firearm and more pending charges.
Tuesday night, the Iowa City Council voted 7-0 to repeal $211,000 body cameras for the Iowa City Police Department. Police Chief Sam Hargadine proposed the repeal after attending a police conference and learning of cheaper and more efficient cameras to use instead. Hargadine says the new cameras would be under $50,000. Since the repeal, the police department will have to present a new resolution to the council, which they expect to be complete by the end of this year.
The University of Iowa is seeking an early retirement program to help cut university costs. The program would be modeled after previous retirement plans enacted in 2009 and 2010 during the recession. Those plans allowed employees to retire early at ages 55 and 57 with extended insurance coverage and payments for vacation and sick leave. Officials say this has helped save costs by leaving positions open and delaying hiring. The current plan is still being designed.
Currier Hall may be getting a makeover in the near future. University of Iowa officials will present to the Board of Regents a $3.2 million plan to renovate the dorm. If the Regents approve, the dorm will have its 3rd and 4th floors remodeled with new carpets, newly painted walls, and air conditioning.
Today, the University of Iowa's Department of Geographical and Sustainability Services hosted events to celebrate GIS Day. GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems and is an area of research that solves problems using location and data. Graduate students were able to demonstrate their work such as analyzing education, tornado patterns, and using laser technology to create virtual landscapes.
The way I always explain it is think of any problem or question you want to answer, and if location matters, then geography is one way to answer that problem.
You can kind of focus on whatever interests you and work towards solving that problem using geography as a framework.
More events will be held later this week, so you can try GIS out for yourself.
While students struggle to find money for new shoes, one UI senior is struggling to raise money for diapers. In this week's Spotlight, I found out why thousands of dollars are going to a small town in Guatemala. Hanging above Kelly Locke's bed are pictures from a summer she will never forget.
Right away, I felt very welcome and excited to be there.
Because for 3 months, the UI senior lived at an orphanage called Fundación Salvación, which housed over 100 orphans in Huehuetenango, Guatemala.
The children here at the Fundación all have a place to go to school.
Despite the language barrier, Kelly grew close to the children she met.
It's incredible to see how hardworking and loving these children are. Especially when you think about what their past may have been like and what they've been through.
But one 8-year-old girl holds an extra special spot in her heart.
Due to her past, she has very high needs. She's unable to walk or talk. It meant a lot to me to be able to help out with Glendy and take her outside every morning for a walk.
It inspired her to launch a fundraiser after she saw the sores on Glendy's hips caused by diapers that were too small for her.
It just broke my heart to see Glendy, this sweet, innocent girl, in so much pain.
Since then, Kelly has worked with child sponsorship program More Than Compassion to raise money to provide children like Glendy enough diapers to last an entire year.
mucho los pañales. Gracias. Gracias por los pañales.
Glendy and Jenny say thank you for the diapers.
Although Kelly has returned to Iowa City, she's already making plans for when she will go back again, or as the kids in Guatemala say, otra vez. Now, otra vez means again in Spanish. The original goal of the diaper campaign was $3,700, but Kelly has now raised nearly $5,000. Stay with us and see how a movie with A-list Hollywood stars is connected to Iowa's wrestling team.
And in Iowa basketball, we hear who made a difference in their Monday contest. Michelle, the wind was ridiculous today. It just seems like the temperatures keep dropping.
I know, I can seriously not even feel my face today, but let's toss it over to Cole, who's standing by in the weather studio. Cole?
It's been pretty cold outside, I'll agree, and there has been a little bit of snow, but not anything like the East Coast. Check out this tweet from Buffalo, New York. This car is completely covered with snow. Impossible to get out of, I'm sure. The National Weather Service reports have the U.S. covered, half of it covered in the U.S. Luckily, here in Iowa City, we won't be seeing much of that in this week's forecast. Tomorrow morning, we'll start off with temperatures at 20 degrees. As we move into the afternoon, we'll hit about 24 degrees and drop back down to 18 by the evening. Going into the rest of the week, we may see a chance of rain on Saturday and Sunday and temperatures just above freezing. At the beginning of next week, they will drop back down below freezing. That chance of snow will come back our way by Wednesday. Even though there's not a lot of snow for us this week, be sure to stay safe as temperatures jump back and forth between the freezing point. That's all I have. Back to you two at the desk.
Right now we have Daily Iowan Arts Editor Emma McClatchy standing by in the newsroom with your Daily Iowan 80 Hours preview. Emma?
Hi, thank you guys. All right, in this week's 80 Hours, we're looking at this group called Pandora's Circus, which will present an interesting Cirque du Soleil-like show in Coralville this weekend. We will also be looking at a horror film that may soon be filming in Iowa City over the winter, but they're currently in fundraising stages, so you can get involved with that. We'll also look at some musicians who will be in town, including Roseanne Cash, the daughter of Johnny Cash. So there's a lot to see and a lot to hear. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Emma. It's no secret that wrestling is a beloved sport in Iowa, but a new movie is showing the sport at one of its darkest times. Daily Iowan TV's Nick Fisher went out to see how Iowa wrestling is connected to the big screen.
Critics are calling it one of the best sports movies of 2014. Foxcatcher is based on the true story of Olympic wrestling champion Mark Schultz, played by Channing Tatum, and paranoid schizophrenic millionaire coach John DuPont, portrayed by Steve Carell, who murdered Schultz's brother, Olympic champion Dave Schultz, in 1996. Wrestling legend Dan Gable, who coached the brothers, was able to watch the movie on opening night last Friday and says the film sheds light on a dark time for the sport and was caught off guard by what actually transpired. And while former head coach Dan Gable was able to check out the flick, current head coach Tom Brands has a different idea for viewing the movie.
We don't need a big screening here. Everybody wants us to kind of get a screening here, but what we want is just give us a disc and let us watch it.
And for Brands, who wrestled with the brothers, the movie brings back fond memories, but he wants viewers to know who the story is really about.
You know, I lived part of that history and have a fondness for Schultz. And it sounds like that movie's more about Mark and you know, to me, it was about Dave, to me. Foxcatcher, Dave Schultz, to me.
Foxcatcher will be playing in theaters across the United States for the next few weeks. Nick Fisher, Daily Iowan TV.
Hawkeye sports are as busy as ever as the fall and winter sports are in full swing.
That's right, Michelle. And now we'll toss it over to Taylor Mathis and Austin Luce in the sports studio. Guys?
Yes, ladies, with both wrestling and basketball season underway, there's a lot of excitement in the Hawkeye State.
That's right, Austin. I had a chance to take a look at how Iowa's offense came alive in Monday night's game.
The Hawkeyes demonstrated dominance here at Carver Hawkeye Arena with their 87-56 victory over North Dakota State University. But tonight's shining star wasn't the typical team leader Aaron White. Instead, it was starter Anthony Clemens. He proved that he was more than just tough defensively. Clemens came out of the gate revved and ready to go. The new starting guard knocked down a career-best 3 three-point field goals on 4 attempts and also matched a career-high 3 steals. Clemens' new scoring element being added to the game is something Coach Fran McCaffrey wanted to see.
What he does, he takes good shots, and he drives against the free throw line typically.
But starting center Adam Woodbury, who recorded his first career double-double by the half, also seems to be improving offensively.
You know, the confidence with which he played offense. You know, even when he missed shots, you know, he would turn face, and if you backed off, he'd just shoot it. He's making that shot.
Scoring a combined total of 21 points against the Bison, both players believe they are feeling much more comfortable with the ball in their hands.
I'm at a real high level when it comes to confidence. I've been that type of player all my life, I'm just trying to enjoy every moment that I can, and play like it's my last.
I'm just more confident in it. I think I've taken some my previous 2 years, but haven't always got that many looks at it. The offense wasn't always focused around me. It isn't right now, but I've looked for my spots and tried to be effective when I got them.
As the team now heads to New York for the 2K Classic, the Hawkeyes are hopeful that Clements and Woodbury will continue to thrive on both sides of the ball. This is Taylor Mathis for Daily Iowan TV Sports.
The Hawkeyes will take on the 10th-ranked Texas Longhorns on Thursday at Madison Square Garden. The game is scheduled for a 7 o'clock tip-off.
The Iowa swim team is currently in the middle of a month-long break. Usually this time off gives swimmers a chance to get ready for their next meet. But one Iowa swimmer is fighting to just get back in the water.
Daily Iowan TV sports reporter Taylor Brooks dove in to find out what it takes to get back in the right lane.
Thanks, guys. Brian Donatelli has overcome a shoulder surgery, ACL surgery, and 2 bone breaks in the leg over the course of the last 2 years. But that hasn't dampened his fighting spirit.
I would say it's 90% mental. Going through this, you got to tell yourself that you can do it. You just have to accept what's going on, and you can't change anything. The only thing you can change is, your attitude, and that's one thing I wake up to is how am I going to begin the day?
It's been emotional, I think, for myself and certainly Brian, and we all feel for him. But you know what? He's really learning a lot about himself, and he's determined. And I think at the end of the day, good things will come from this.
He's been a great motivator, and he still believes in me, which is a huge part of it. It does take you to believe in yourself, but having someone else believe in you really does push you to get further. It's not, you got to look back and see like how far you come rather than, how much do you have to go. I feel like every day realizing that moment is always there and kind of taking advantage of that moment.
I think sport in general, it's not always about, and we talk about this, the fastest time in fact, in general, when you look back 20 years, that time's probably not going to be that fast anyway. So it's about the path to get there and about the success you can achieve and pushing yourself to a limit that you didn't know you could do. And that's what this is. This is just an extreme example of a roadblock put in front of Brian, and he's just going to get right through it. It's going to be a different path than other people, but he's still going to get his dreams, and this is helping him for later in life.
It's being aware of my thoughts and being aware that, this isn't the end. This is not the end. This is just a bump in the road. I'm pushing towards just getting back as fully and as, I guess, more positive than ever. You can't get discouraged. Even though you're going through this rough process, this team is my life.
Brian is a huge inspiration in and out of the pool and hopes to be back for their home meet against Northwestern January 24th. Austin, Taylor, back to you guys in the sports studio.
Thanks for that, Taylor, but that will do it all for us here in the sports studio. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night where we will have our pregame edition of the show.
Don't forget to wear your black Iowa gear to Kinnick Stadium this weekend, as everyone is encouraged to dress black for the blackout when the 16th ranked Wisconsin Badgers come to town.
Hannah and Michelle, back to you at the desk.
Make sure to pick up the Daily Iowan tomorrow to read the newest headlines.
Find out more on why Iowa ranks 9th in the nation for producing those plump turkeys that meet our plate on Thanksgiving.
And read about G. Edgar Folk, a 100-year-old professor emeritus here at the UI.
Before we go, the future is here and it's on hoverboards.
It sure is. This is video of pro skater Tony Hawk on the first ever hoverboard. The Hendo hoverboard uses 4 hover engines that force opposing magnetic fields to lift the board off the ground. Other materials like aluminum or copper.
It looks just like Marty McFly from the popular movie Back to the Future, don't you think?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's all we have tonight on Daily Iowan TV. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night at 9 for your latest news.
And always stay updated online at dailyiowan.com. Thanks for joining us.
And have a great night.